social media can be a blessing. Social media can be a curse. I'm sure one day I will be canceled on social media, but you know, that doesn't really bother me. I don't really care about if somebody gets mad or triggered at something I say on social media. I'm there to have fun. I like to have fun on this channel. I make fun of some other content creators from time to time. I'm usually in a joking manner. I don't really dislike that many YouTubers, but we have this problem with social media where a story gets out there, whether it's true or not, it doesn't really matter, but a story gets out there and people see it, and instead of actually going and looking at the source of the story, instead of going and actually digging into what was actually said, they run with the most attractive headline for their audience, whether it be a website or a YouTube channel or a Twitch thing or stream, whatever the case may be. Because at the end of the day, people in general don't want to tell you the truth. They tell you what you want to hear, or what they think you want to hear, what makes their fan base happy. I have pissed off a lot of my fan base from time to time, and I understand it. You know, I'm not perfect, but I never felt like I was doing it maliciously or because of just not well researching a topic. Maybe in the past I have before, but as the channel grew, obviously responsibility does grow to some extent. You have to back up what you say, and I feel like I always back up what I say, whether people agree with it or not. But we get back to that whole thing where I was just saying, people will tell you what you want to hear instead of what is actually the truth if it'll benefit them. You see it with YouTubers, you see it with websites, you see it with entertainers, you see it with politicians, because you can't handle the truth sometime. And I've had so many people hit me up about this story. So many people like, RGT, why aren't you talking about this? All these other YouTube channels are, these Nintendo YouTubers are, and first and foremost, I'm not talking about it because I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber, but there's something much more to it than that. There's something way deeper than that. It's simply not what was said. It's simply not true. I, of course, am talking about the whole new Nintendo Switch, the next Nintendo console specs being leaked, the specs of it, the specifications, the meat and potatoes of what this system is going to be. Because if you've been on the internet the past 48 hours or so, you've seen this story. Every website is running it. All these YouTubers are making videos. Nintendo Switch specs leaked. We now know what the system is going to be. And I get it. I get the hype. I get the anticipation. But if you actually look beyond the hype, beyond the anticipation, you actually look at what was said, that's not what was said at all. So let's just talk about this. FTC right now, and Microsoft and Sony, this, that, and the other. Activision's involved with this. Call of Duty. I am sick and tired of this. I am sick and tired of the console tribalism that is happening with these people. The Xbox people are like, yeah, we need this deal to be done. The PlayStation people are like, no, you don't get the deal done. Me, I don't care because I own all the systems. I'm an adult. I'll play the games on the system where I want to play them. If something's exclusive to another system, so be it. But that's a discussion for another day. Obviously, we have gotten little mentions of Nintendo from time to time in this. The FTC actually wanted to interview Nintendo, and they were like, no, we have nothing to do with this. But when you're talking about a company like Activision, Activision is a company that has put their games on the Nintendo Switch. Activision has been working on Nintendo platforms for a very long time, and most of that has been under the tutelage of a Mr. Bobby Kotick. Now, Kotick is getting grilled on the stand because of the fact that everyone is just focusing on Call. That's really what this all boils down to. It seems like nobody cares about Blizzard stuff. Nobody cares about any of that stuff. It's just Microsoft and Call of Duty. That's what the whole focal point is on, because these politicians, these people in the FTC, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't have any clue. It's like stumbling Joe Biden talking about Russia invading Iraq. Like, you know, if you love Biden, that's cool, but like, I don't know. I don't think he's all there. Like, older people, I'm not going to tell my grandfather about this situation and expect him to fully understand what I'm talking about. Expect him to understand whatever I'm talking about. And these are the type of people you have in the FTC. People who don't know anything about the video game industry. They look at it like every other business, when in reality, it's really not. Like, sure, at the higher portions they are, but games are a very different medium. Anyways, I've been all over the place in this video. Mr. Bobby Kotick made a statement about Call of Duty and Nintendo. And this statement when it was made, because people are like live, like journaling this whole FTC thing. They're live documenting this whole FTC situation because it gets good Twitter engagement. Nothing wrong with that. And people seem genuinely interested in it because they're weird. I just want all this to be over. Bobby Kotick made a statement, and somehow, some way, this statement ended up becoming the Nintendo Switch 2 specs leak. So what was the statement? What did he actually say? Let's take a look. Given closer alignment of Gen 8 platforms and our previous offerings on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, it's reasonable to assume that we can make something compelling for next-gen Switch as well. And you can see here, it says Switch. So let's read this together once again, one more time, just to make sure we're crystal clear on this. Given closer alignment of Gen 8 platforms and our previous offerings on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, it's reasonable to assume we can make something compelling for next-gen Switch as well. Once again, I'll make myself smaller so you can see the word Switch. Now, that was the statement that was said, an assumption of what a next generation Nintendo Switch is going to look like as far as in terms of power. He's assuming that it'll be something like a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. Somehow, some way, that statement ended up becoming the Nintendo Switch 2 specs have leaked. It's as powerful as a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One. I'm almost at a loss for words here. How do you derive that from that? Okay, let's use something called common sense. Let's use something called logic here. What is the Nintendo Switch closest to right now? If you had to say it was close to a home console, what do you see a lot of ports of? PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era titles. Yes, you also get PlayStation 4 and Xbox One series titles. You also get PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X titles on this thing. Looking at you, Mortal Kombat 1, with no last generation version. So more than likely, the Switch 2, the next Nintendo unit device. We don't even know if it's going to be a Switch, by the way. More than likely, this is going to be more powerful than the iteration that we currently have on the marketplace, or else why would they do it? So if you're going to go an incremental amount of power, and you look at how Nintendo has been doing things, yeah, there's a damn good chance that it'll be like the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One in terms of raw power, but we're expecting stuff like artificial upscaling and artificial intelligence with DLSS or Fidelity FX, whatever the case may be with that. Something that actually artificially enhances the games, so a power-to-power differentiating thing, a power-to-power comparison doesn't make quite as much sense as it would when you're talking about something like a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One, because you're doing different things behind the scenes with additional features that are not added into those systems. But everything I just said is an assumption. Everything I just said is an assumption, just like this statement is here from Mr. Bobby Kotick. It's reasonable to assume we can make something compelling for next generation Switch, basically if it's on the level of the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, because they've made Call of Duty. That's what this is all stemming from. They're asking about Call of Duty being on Nintendo. Can it handle it? It's on mobile devices. The Call of Duty had multiple titles on the Wii. Call of Duty had titles on the Nintendo DS. But somehow, some way, this statement became Nintendo Switch 2 specs leak. I mean, I used to think that I was the king of clickbait. I used to think it. I used to be very proud of that moniker. I can't accept that moniker anymore, though. I cannot sit here and say in good conscience that I am the king of clickbait anymore, because this is a whole nother level. This is a whole nother stratosphere of insanity, saying that this is leaked information. So why did I make this video? What was the point of it? Well, there was a point to it. Because I always want you to remember something, especially if you're watching, towards the end of this video, because I feel like only the hardcore people watch the end of the video. I want you to remember this. I'm not always going to tell you what you want to hear. I will tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not, whether I want to hear it or not. And that's something that, I kind of pride myself in. I've pissed off a lot of people with videos on these channels. I don't care. This is just an extension of how I'm feeling about something. This is just my opinion on something. If somebody gets so wound up over it that they're mad at me and they want to unsubscribe or unfollow me on Twitter, so be it. You know, so be it. I understand. I'm not for everyone. I'm not a vanilla person. I'm a bit rough around the edges. Always have been, always will be. But I would rather tell you the truth than tell you what you wanted to hear. I hope you guys took away something from this. And if you think that this is an admission of it being as strong as the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, cool. You're wrong. Read the statement. It's right there. Black and white, clear as crystal. And as always, thank you for watching this video. If you are new, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. You know, share this video around so that we could sort of, you know, get rid of some of this misinformation. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.